if you had to explain to a third grader that knew nothing at all, and you had 2 paragraphs to tell what you want to tell to get the third grader to understand, how would you explain the case?
I usually say it's for 8th graders.
Okay. A lot of Americans have like a third grade mentality, so if you can get them to get it, then you can get the rest of them to get it.
So basically it's about many thousands of people, maybe 10 or 20, we do not know for sure, that these crooked judges that are all organized. It's not like one crooked judge or 2 crooked, they're all together crooked and organized in their crookedness. They're holding in prison thousands of people for over 10 years, and the government knows about it, FBI knows about it, everybody knows about it, but nobody does anything. They let them stay in prison. And already 10 years ago, very famous people said, this is like the worst dictatorship in like a police state, what is going on in L.A. But nobody is doing anything. This is the United States. We go to Afghanistan, Iraq to rescue people who are abused, their human rights are abused. But here in Los Angeles, it's according to Dean of a law school, a very famous one too, it's like the worst dictatorship and police states. That's it. And also, on top of it, we are the ones who created the current economic crisis. FBI says so.
All right.
It's related. It's all related.
The lawyer that's in for 10 months, that's been in solitary confinement, what's his name?
Solitary hospitalization.
And that's to keep him the $45,000 per judge for 10 years. What was the $45,000 paid for?
In order to make sure that the payer never loses a case in court.
So who's been paying the judges?
Los Angeles County.
So Los Angeles County pays them $45,000 each to judge cases for whatever they're told to do.
We did not know that there was a written agreement that but the end result was that they were secretly paying them over $45,000 a year, each of them, and during those years, you could not win a case in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles County is often in court, on any issues from zoning to building to child custody, child support, anything you want, LA County is in court. You could not win a case against LA County in those years.
So basically you go to the system to complain about the system. So that how was the $45,000 paid? Paid out.
Budget, the county budget. They put them on a payroll. The judges in California, by Constitution of California, are allowed to be paid only by the state, which makes sense. So from Sacramento, but they decided to pay them extra, and they called it benefits, professional education, location enhancement, all kind of nonsense. But they paid them this money secretly and illegally. And eventually, this guy exposed it, and then eventually it took some months, and then around October 2008, the Court of Appeals in San Diego ruled that those payments were illegal, not permitted, on the constitutional ground of California. And then they figured out that they all had all of a sudden criminal and civil liability. It's criminal for judges to take money. And it's all of them. So the Judicial Council of California hastily convinced the Senate of California to pass a pardon for all of them, but it was passed without ever being debated on the floor, without ever being referred to a committee, which is in violation of the Senate rules itself, of California I'm talking, and it was done within a period of less than a week, from the 14th of February 2009 to 20th of February 2009. It was done through a lobbyist, which was paid $60,000 by the judges to pass it. They secretly entered it into the budget bill, passed it, and the governor signed the pardons on the 20th of February. On the 4th of March, they arrested this guy without a warrant, and he's hospitalized ever since.
Wow, that's quite some story. How are you involved in that?
I don't know. I became part of the underground. It's really, I'm serious talking. It's almost like an underground because all these things, nobody really reports about them. I have stories I can write an encyclopedia. And sometimes I meet people and I talk to them, they say, how do you know about these things? You know, there's all kinds of connections and people don't tell you their names. It's a completely like an underground. Like, for example, I did not go, but there was some small demonstration in front of the jail. This guy is hospitalized, and a person who was there told me that nobody told anybody else the name or phone number. Because you never know, you know, it's all full of stinkers and whatever, snitches, whatever. It's totally underground.
Yeah. What caused you to contact me? You saw that I posted on the judge with the that likes cows, right?
Oh yeah. The issue with that, it's Alex Kozinski. It's not any judge.
Yep.
Okay, you have to realize, you know, that the United States is divided into 9 circuits. This is the biggest circuit. He probably controls the lives of 50 million people or so. Alex Kozinski.
And he's still a judge?
In the United States, we like to believe that we have a constitution and there are amendments and civil rights, and the Ninth Circuit is known as a liberal court and all that bullshit. And they split hairs. I'll give you an example of splitting hairs on what is a warrantless arrest that is in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Let's imagine, this is a case from this year in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, that police were going to do an arrest on a person under exigency conditions. And maybe the guy had armed and maybe he would threat to somebody, but they did not have a warrant. So they immediately asked the judge to sign a warrant for them. But since it was exigency, they started the arrest. However, the arrest turned from exigency to non-exigency while they were doing the arrest and while the judge was writing the warrant. Was it a warrantless arrest or a legal arrest? This is the kind of question that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal likes to deal with. At the same time, this guy was without any warrant, hospitalized falsely for 10 months. His appeal went all the way to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, and Alex Kozinski issued an order, which was a fake order because it was not signed or not entered in the court, the records, which said that his case did not amount to the level that justified the extreme measure of mandamus. That's bullshit, basically.
Yeah, so this judge is still in power?
Yeah, he's one of the strongest people in the United States. He's controlling the civil rights of 50 million people. He's the chief judge of the Ninth Circuit of the Court of Appeal. He controls the whole western coast of the United States.
And so nobody gets whatever justice is in the case. It's already fixed before they have the case.
No, you don't get it. Okay, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal, what I'm saying is, on this case, because it involves corruption of judges, he completely faked it. I don't know what he does in other cases, but when it came to a case of corrupt judges, he covered up on them. The judges basically punished this guy by falsely imprisoning him indefinitely in the hospital. And it's when he filed, okay, the first 2 months he did not let him have a paper and pen. Okay, this is, the whole story is straight from Soviet Russia. They did not let him have a pen and paper. Why? So he would not be able to write his own habeas corpus petition, which is a medieval right, you know. And I don't know, you probably heard about Justice Brennan. He was a big one.
Yep.
He called it the great writ of habeas corpus. And he also said it was the cornerstone of the American Constitution. And there was another big justice called Brandeis. He said that the greatest thing about the legal tradition in the English language is that it instituted liberty by law, which is habeas corpus, basically. And it happened in 1215. That's like 800 years ago.
Yes.
Today in LA County, we lost the right for habeas corpus.
So
they faked it. First they didn't let him have pen and paper for 2 months, so he will not be able to write it. Finally, he dictated it by phone to a friend, and then they completely faked the habeas corpus hearing. They